Soundstripe.
I loved Will. I did. Once upon a time, I did. When I first met him, I did. Oh, it was a beautiful love with a silver lining, and I felt like the sun could never stop shining, like the darkness could never find its way into my loving soul. I no longer felt lost. I was in control. Back then I loved him. I loved him, I did. But time came along and snatched up my heart, and everything started slowly falling apart. Will loved me, he loved me, he loved me, he did. But what he loved more was his skill with the quid. He was mad for me, but he was mad for it, and the fame, the fortune that came with it. The craze, the haze, the praise was creating a war, and Will was needing it more and more. A war was starting within his mind, and slowly it was becoming harder and harder to find Will between his pages of writings and poems and sonnets. But I kept on fighting for me and fighting for him and for our love, which had once seemed to swim upon clouds of white and skies of blue. But now I know what is true. The truth is that William was lost in himself, and he was losing the one thing that we seem to have. He had lost the healing feeling of love and the warmth of the golden rays from above. But it wasn't his madness that drove me insane. It was his aching, breaking feelings of pain. You could see it in his face, his hair, and his eyes. You could see his mind was filling with endless cries. You could see the color being ripped from his face. You could see how he wanted to leave this place. So I'm sorry, but this death that we all mourn was not caused by a fever, but by a man who was torn. Oh, he took so many things away from me, but the one thing that he was unable to see was that he not only took my love and youth, but he took my life, and that is the truth. And now that he's gone, he has left me with nothing. No warning, no life. Now I'll be forgotten. And I know that he'll go down in history as the man that I never knew him to be. Oh, they will call him wonderful and great. And I know that they will create a vision of him so noble and smart, when I was the one who lifted his heart, and I was the one who helped him to write his poems and sonnets without a fight. Well, he would go mad inside his head, but it's him. It's him they'll never forget. And I loved Will, I loved Will, I loved Will, I did. But what I loved more was my skill with the quid. But he stole all that away from me, as he was the one that you wanted to see. And as he was spiraling within his mind, I was the one who was left behind. And as he took the fame, the fortune alone, I was the one who fell off the throne. Now that he's dead, now that he's gone, I'm sorry to say, but I won't mourn for long, because I do not love William no more, because he took all that love and threw it out of a door when he stole my poems and sonnets and writings, and I was left unnoticed without fighting. So if you don't mind, soon I will be leaving to a place where I can write without too much grieving, a place so wonderful where I can be seen and heard and loved by the people who have been hurt and tortured as much as I, and where time will seem to pass me by. No longer will I spend nights awake crying. No, I will be soaring, I will be flying, and I can feel it. Oh, I can taste it. The end is so near. And oh, my dear loved ones, oh, don't you fear. Because the truth is, a war has started within my mind, and slowly it's becoming harder and harder to find myself between my pages of writings and poems and sonnets. But now I'm done fighting for me, and fighting to mend my broken soul, screaming, this needs to end. William not only took my love, writings, and youth, but he took my life, and that is the truth.